What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. Monday and Tuesday, two red days for AMC. We have not seen back-to-back red days in quite some time. Today, Wednesday, as I'm making this video, intraday, we are down almost 4%. We're going to talk about what happened these past 2 days. I also want to bring up the short sale restriction and some news that I had read about and learned about, to leading us to believe that it is not as effective as we once thought, especially when it comes to the hedge funds shorting our stock, bringing that price down. I also want to talk about retail investor selling versus institutional investor selling, and then just give you my unbiased opinion on exactly what is going on behind closed doors. So stick around, guys. You're not going to want to miss this. For those of you that are new to the channel, all I ask is that you hit that like button and subscribe to join the family. If you're interested in joining our private community, it is the first link in the description. We have over 300 members. I have my private portfolio and go over all my stock picks, and it's a great community of men and women where we can all talk about stocks and discuss exactly where we see the market going. So if you're interested, guys, first link in the description. Let's just take an overview at the charts. This is the 5-day 5-minute chart. We've seen some pretty nice, just that downward trend just continuing to happen. It popped up this morning, seeing above that 11 mark, and then it began to pull back, and we're seeing a little bit of a reversal right now. First thing I want to talk about, and this is the biggest thing that's been talked about lately, is this Ssr rule. If you are very new to this and you haven't heard of it, is a short sale rule. The short sale rule was a SEC trading regulation that restricted short sales of stock from being placed on downtick in the market price of shares. Okay. As mentioned, the SEC adopted the alternative uptick rule, which is what we are in effect now, restricting short sales on downticks of 10% or more. So to break that down to a little bit further, the SSR, also known as the alternative uptick rule, or SEC Rule 201, the SSR restricts short sales on a stock that has declined in price by 10% or more from the previous day's close. Once triggered, the SSR remains in effect until the end of the following trading day. Okay. Using the above example, the SSR remains in effect for the rest of the session on that specific day and the entire next day. So if this happens on this guy's example, it happens on a Tuesday, it goes the entire rest of Tuesday and Wednesday. So we had expected this to continue all of the rest of Monday and all of Tuesday in this previous week. Once the circuit breaker is tripped, short sale orders can only be executed at a higher price than the current bid, which means only triggered on an uptick, which we had learned about. However, I also want to bring this up, guys, and this is something that is new to me, and a lot of people have been talking about it. It is the short exempt. The short exempt refers to a short sale order exempted from the uptick rule. Okay, the current implementation of this regulation contains a modified version of what is known as the Uptick Rule. The current regulation allows for a comparatively small number of restrictions, and within those restrictions are even smaller fraction of exceptions to that rule. These exceptions are intended to allow brokers to best serve their customers in panic markets. When I first read this, I was like, oh, okay, so the hedge funds are literally screwed. They shorted the shit out of a stock. They're way deep in the red, and in order to kind of save themselves, they have to utilize this to kind of bail themselves out. So we're continuing to see that. I was watching the level twos, okay, for the rest of Monday and yesterday, and we were continuing to see that shorting. However, it was not as great as it was, for example, on Friday of last week, okay? However, it was continuing to happen. I do want to point out, and this is from Fintel, which their information seems to be a little bit, varying as of lately. The short borrow fee is starting to go back up. It's almost at 3.5% with 1.9 million available shares. Okay. So I want to also talk about what happened exactly on last Friday. Okay, so stick around. I'm just going to get into it in just a minute. I want to talk about this, guys. These are the options. The calls are still a lot of calls that are out of the money for that 10.50, 11, 11.50, $12 price range. If we can hit that, it's going to absolutely, help crush us. And if we can stay above that $10 mark, that is the crucial mark as of right now. Above 11 would be even better, but above $10 is going to be that crucial mark for Friday. Okay, if you look at exactly what is happening right now, AMC still has a lot of high options volume, and it is almost at an even 1-to-1 ratio of call to put volume. Okay, and lastly, I want to point this out before we get into what happened on Friday. There is a strong chance of a short squeeze according to S3 Partners' new algorithm, which first identified the GameStop squeeze. So if you're hanging on, guys, this is something you're going to want to hang on to. I want to talk about exactly what happened on last Friday, which is really leading me to believe much more potency of where this stock is going. Okay, so I had mentioned in my last video that I've never seen a stock that is not OTC trade sideways like this before. And then at the last minute, I was watching the level twos and we saw 45.2 million short shares come through, pulling that price down. So if you're hanging on to this stock, okay, and you are thinking to yourself, one, oh, it's only shorting, or retail investors are starting to sell. Let me give you my personal perspective. I do believe that there are some retail investors starting to sell. However, that number is most likely very, very small. The reason being for that is because, one, not everything is about money, okay? And there are individuals that literally are at a point to where they don't even want to deal with this anymore. They don't want to wake up in the morning and think about what's going on with AMC, and they want to get back to their normal life, which is normal. The market in investing is not for everybody. And if you're a new investor that got into AMC and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'm nervous, I'm checking my phone all the time, this and that, I can't handle the swings, I'm only down $1, let me just get out. Sure, that's probably happening. However, that number is very, very, very small. And the shorting is what is continuing to drive the price down. What this also leads me to believe is, I was literally thinking about this earlier when I was in the shower, is the simple fact of, imagine when you are investigating a crime scene, okay? And you think to yourself, you go to talk to, an individual, and they start basically giving you as little information as possible. And there are so many different factors that lead up to you believing that maybe this person isn't guilty, right? But there's something that they're trying to hide. And when you see, as we saw last week, okay, how crucial it was for, not crucial, but how in even much of a bigger step it was going to be for us to close above that $14 mark. And every single move that you could possibly even write in a playbook was played out to get that price below $14. And at the end, that 45.2 million short share execution come through. That just leads me sitting back to believe, well, what are you guys hiding? Okay, why would you put out that much effort to be able to pull this stock down unless you have a lot to risk and a lot to lose? So personally, guys, I am continuing to hold this stock. I will continue to hold this stock. I will first let everybody know in my private group when I choose to either average up, average down, sell half my position, sell all my position, whatever I choose to do, I will let them know first. But as of right now, I am currently still holding all of my position. Financially, I am able to do so, and mentally, I am able to go through all of the swings. As you can see, my position is quite large. So when you're down from that high of 14.25, you're down $4. That could be a good sized chunk. I also hung through all the way down to that 530 to 550 range. So seeing this hanging around at 1025 is not a huge worry for me. But like I said, keep that in mind. Everybody's financial situation is different. And that is what's going to depend on whether the retail investors continue to hold or not. And while some might be selling, it is a very, very, very small amount of the volume that is happening on the daily basis with AMC, guys. So that's it for this video. I hope it gave you some insight, especially about the short sale restriction and how we should put some more effort and interest into learning exactly about how we can prevent this exception from happening, because the rule was put into effect for a reason. So that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you in the next one.